All right, with that, I want to welcome in our panel. We've got our White House correspondent, Emerald Robinson, joining us from our nation's capital, where apparently many schools are open, according to our press secretary. Host of Stacy on the Right, Stacy Washington is here. Former Trump staff advisor and Newsmax contributor, Andrew Giuliani, and editor-at-large of The Hill, Steve Clemons, making his appearance back on the panels of Wake Up America. Steve, with the flatware in the background, it is good to see you again, my friend. How are you?
Doing great. Good morning, everybody. I'm just thinking about those Clydesdales still.
That was from literally 7 weeks ago, Steve, but I'm glad.
Blast from the past.
Yes, I'm glad. Good to see you. I want to play something else that I've been thinking about for the last 12 hours. Roberta Jacobson told everyone in Spanish that the border is wide open. Take a listen.
Que es muy importante subrayar el caso que la frontera no está cerrada, que la frontera está cerrada.
Oh, boy. Emerald Robinson, White House correspondent, yesterday in the briefing room. I'll tell you what, if you are Spanish speaking and you are thinking about coming into America and you heard that, that would be what I call some mixed messaging from the White House.
Or maybe a moment of honesty.
Yeah, exactly. A Freudian slip, right?
Yeah, that's what Ben Weingarten had to say. I had to agree. I thought it was cute. He said, how do you say Freudian slip in Spanish?
Right. I'm not sure, and I'm not going to attempt it. Andrew, the worst thing about what's happening right now at our southern border might just be that the Border Patrol, hardworking men and women, Americans, they do not have the support they need to keep this surge from happening. They're totally understaffed right now.
Yeah, and you've said it. I mean, they are some of the most hardest working, patriotic Americans that you've seen. They go out there every single day. They're not sure if they're, they're taking their life in their hands. And during a pandemic, to see this surge at the border, that there's all this focus when you take that Psaki Dodge, and she talks about schools reopening and how they are reopening. Well, look, we've seen ultimately that schools, they are not a high transmission place. Kids should be back in schools, and we've seen the effect of that. Yet, at the same time, you see that there's no problem in just absolutely crowding these detention facilities, these cages as they were defined during the Trump administration. Now I don't know, are they hotels? I don't know exactly how they've branded that, but it's just, it's really sad to see what's happening to these men and women who are serving their country, who believe that this country needs borders in order to function.
Yeah, we have an immigration citizenship process in place, as does every other civilized country on this planet.
They're calling the ones that they're looking to add, like the NASA site that they're looking at, potentially a temporary influx care facility.
Is that what they're calling it? That sounds lovely. Yeah. Host of Stacy on the Right, Stacy Washington, back with us this morning. I know that you were talking about this on your radio show. Some good news in the state of Texas. Yesterday, the state reopened all businesses, all restaurants, no more masks. Now, you can certainly wear a mask if you want to. Mississippi just did the same thing. And Maryland, this surprised me, the first blue state, Stacy, announcing they will reopen officially tomorrow on Friday.
So that's great news. I have to say, and I think Emerald will agree with me here because we're the two moms on the panel, that those detention facilities that I saw for the high schoolers are just glorified sheds. Yeah. It's actually a shed, the style of shed that you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's. We have two of them on our property here. We keep garden supplies in them. They've just stuck an air conditioning unit in it, and they call it a detention facility for high school students. They keep them separated in these tiny little sheds. It's inhumane, it's ridiculous, and these kids shouldn't be coming here by coyotes, $10,000 a head. The drug cartels are making a mint, and meanwhile, we're struggling just to get our kids back in school. We're struggling just to have our businesses reopened. So when I see a state like Maryland that is clearly like it's a leftist bastion of I won't say what, those people are now open. We're in a different place than we were a year ago. So good for them for actually doing something right. But what about that border? We're talking about 300 kids crossing a day. Moms all over the country, dads, anybody who has a beating heart should be very upset by what the Biden administration is doing to them.
And Stacy, that's a conservative estimate, that 300. The numbers in the month of February, record numbers we haven't seen in 15 years. Steve, good morning. Roberta Jacobson yesterday also said that we're in favor, and this is a quote, of an orderly legal process at our southern border. My question is, didn't we just have that on January 20th?
Well, look, I mean, I think the administration is trying to send a different signal that it's, it's trying to figure out a way to deal humanely with a surge of people who are coming in who look at Joe Biden's administration as one who's going to be a lot friendlier to them. I was on one of the first calls with Jake Sullivan, the president's national security advisor, who worried about this and was trying to send a signal. We're the wrong crowd for him to tell it to, but trying to basically say Joe Biden is not a green flag to come into America, and this is going to take months and months and months to work out. And I think as everybody is seeing, whether you're on the right or the left, the border is a mess, and more people are surging up to it, and there are just no real clear answers.
Yeah.
I agree with Stacy that some of what we're seeing, looks inhumane. But I don't want to, be among those who say it wouldn't matter whether President Trump was there or Joe Biden was there, with the exception that I think a lot of people coming to the border see Biden as opportunity, and that's a mistake.
Yeah, but Emerald, wouldn't you say? But
border policy when he came in on January the 20th,
and Steve, you can't say that wouldn't be the case if Donald Trump were not president, because it wasn't the case when Donald Trump was president.
There was a great question in the briefing room yesterday where a reporter asked Ambassador Jacobson, shouldn't you have, before you change the policy of turning away UACs, unaccompanied minors, shouldn't you have prepared, had these facilities up and running and, delayed that change? Yeah. Because you were going to do it anyway. They were definitely going to do it, but shouldn't they have been more prepared before they did it? And I think that really got.
They absolutely should have. I mean, I don't dispute they absolutely should have done that, because right now, this reminds me of the time when Joe Biden was vice president and he was given the challenge of dealing with children at the border then, and they did not do well with it at the Obama administration.
The original photos of kids in cages. Yeah. I want to pivot and just talk about something, because today is the 1-year anniversary of the WHO declaring coronavirus a global pandemic. This is March 11th. Let me play you a soundbite from Dr. Anthony Fauci from March 9th of 1 year ago. Take a listen.
There is no reason, if you want to go on a cruise ship, to go on a cruise ship. Personally, I would never go on a cruise ship because I don't like cruises.
Steve, it's amazing. In the course of a year, we went from Dr. Fauci throwing out the first pitch at national games to having a bobblehead to now I finally think that some of the patina on Dr. Fauci is starting to come off. I think people are tired of him, and I think that he's going to be attached to this pandemic forever in a negative way. You agree?
No, I think Dr. Fauci is a scientist. I think that as this pandemic spread, became a much more serious social problem, I think when you look at Fauci and the team and other people on Donald Trump's team and how they marshaled through vaccine options, I think at the end of the day it'll be there. But look, you can go grab lots of quotes, what he said about masks and others, and they were clearly wrong early on in this pandemic. He's tried to rationalize that and explain it for various reasons. And, so I think that's a problem. But I don't agree that at the end of the day, Fauci's still one of the most famous people in the world, and he's still partly responsible for bringing these vaccine options online through the National Institutes of Health.
Andrew, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with what Steve just said?
Well, I have a question for Steve. Do you think that Fauci is wrong and basically got the information to the American people wrong because he was buying what the WHO and what the CCP were actually selling? Why did he get that wrong so many times so early on?
I think he looked, particularly on the mask guidance that he gave, that was wrong. He and Jerome Adams, remember, the Surgeon General for President Trump, basically told people, I was going to go out and buy some masks. I was worried about this pandemic. I did a show on it on February 11th, worried about what was going to go on. And so, but we all got instructions, don't go buy masks, because they were privately allegedly worried that frontline workers wouldn't be able to get them while the rest of the public did. That was a mistake. I think it was a big mistake. We were underprepared in this country for a lot of reasons that were not.
Steve, let me bring in Stacy, because I want to give Stacy a moment to respond to that. Stacy, sure. Dr. Fauci, I think in a lot of ways, like John Kerry is the climate czar, I think he's going to be the czar of misinformation once this is all said and done.
He is. So, I remember distinctly this time last year, we keep, we're preppers, we're crazy preppers, Bible thumpers, gun owners, all that jazz. We had masks. And so we went all around the house, like in the garage. My husband had gone into the prepper supply closet and gotten out masks and used them when he was working outside on the pool. And I was like, what have you done? You've depleted our supply. So I went on Amazon and I ordered some masks. 3 days later, a friend of mine was like, do you know where we can get some masks? They're all sold out at Menards and Home Depot. So I went online to the same exact seller and they were sold out. And so I said, look around. And so we started a text thread just for masks, me and 25 of my girlfriends, and we would report in, I saw 5 packs of masks, or I just bought 6 boxes of masks, or whatever, and we would share them. This was going on when Fauci was saying, do not buy masks. So people who had sense were still buying them because we knew we needed them and we were unprepared. He will be found for that.
Yeah, we all went through it.
One of the reasons why there was a shortage of masks was because China was buying up a lot of these masks, right? I mean, that's come out there. So, I mean,
being honest.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. China knew exactly what they were throwing at us.
And now they're getting ready for the Olympics 10 months from now. Panel, we've got to leave it there. Really enjoyed the conversation. We could go on and on. Sorry, Emerald, what was that?
I was just going to say to what Stacy was saying, we were watching Chinese media in December and January, late December and January. I remember around Christmas time and New Year's Eve, and my husband ordered
I need to get Stacy's advice.
Panel, we got to go. Like the Oscars, they're already rolling the music on me right now. A great conversation. We'll pick this back up on Wake Up tomorrow morning. Steve, good to see you again. Thank you.